welcome everyone, and thank you for joining me today to talk about PowerUp your ServiceNow digitized IT ecosystem governance. We'll be talking about digitizing and automating process and service performance governance. My name is Hugo Gordillo, and I'll be walking you through this presentation shortly. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been with Capgemini for 10 years and over 20 years of experience in the service design, delivery, and operation, working with our various customers. And I'm a part of the projects and consulting practice and I'm a SIAM capability leader, and look forward to giving you this topic. So to get us started, what I want to talk about is digital and some of the things we're seeing in the marketplace for our customers as the ecosystem is changing. In general, we see a large increase in IT suppliers that are supporting the environments. We also have digital driving innovation and a need for agility, whether it comes to DevOps or moving to cloud. There's a lot of activity happening in this space. Also, the business is driving for increased cost and profitability measures. So making sure that your IT investments are delivering value is incredibly important. We also see rapidly changing technology in the environment, increasing regulatory pressures, and an end user that's more modern, expecting a better user experience, whether it's mobile or Amazon Web-like user experience. We have customers and end users that have high expectations. So the results of this is that these factors have ended in a very complex environment. So how do we handle that, and how do we improve and leverage this digital environment? What we found is that some of the keys to this are continuing to digitize and automate. So having a platform, having an environment that brings you the flexibility, innovation, and efficiency in a multi-sourced digital ecosystem, tying that to automating and monitoring of policies, service performance, and compliance, around with accountability and the transparency of a single source provider model, allows our customers to have better visibility and management over the suppliers that are in the environment. And you may be new to the term SIAM, but this is service integration and management. But our Capgemini Digital SIAM truly unlocks the full potential of your digital ecosystem and improves service delivery. The way that we're doing that is providing an overall dynamic service portfolio. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but you see the services that we offer and can make available to our customers and deploy. It removes duplication across services when you have multiple suppliers with contracts that conflict. Having standard processes allows suppliers to work in an efficient way and drive towards value. We're also taking control back from suppliers. When there's lack of transparency, lack of accountability, suppliers are able to operate in a way that it's difficult to manage. And what we're doing is putting in measures that allow you to better manage your suppliers and drive that value. We also have a plug and play integrated supplier model. So as the ecosystem evolves and changes and you need to bring on or offboard a supplier, the process and the tooling support this in a very plug and play easy fashion. And this is very good for both the business and for Capgemini from a service delivery perspective. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about ServiceNow and what we're doing in the platform with regards to digitizing IT governance. So when we talk about the SIAM digital ecosystem platform, what this essentially means is we have a combination of process tools that support an end-to-end delivery, and we acknowledge that our customers may be at different levels of maturity, all the way from just delivering standard basic maturity level 1 with incident problem change, progressing up to more higher levels of maturity where you're doing configuration management, you might be doing CMDB, but for purposes of today, we'll be focusing on the digital SIAM governance, which focuses on a few areas within this ecosystem. And right now, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So you may wonder, why is having governance framework so important? And what is a governance framework exactly? So what we've done is when we think of that ecosystem platform, there's key elements. If you look at the services that suppliers are actually delivering to customers, those are all determined usually by a set of contracts. And the delivery of those activities are both delivered from the supplier, but also governed usually by a set of policies and processes. And that may be Capgemini in some cases where we're doing the governance for a delivery. And the other thing that we're always working towards is continual service improvement. So when you think of digital governance, the way that we digitize this, we take a three-pronged approach. We digitize data and workflows, as well as augmenting management, and we continually look for opportunities for new improvement. So the way that we do this is when we think of digitizing data, you have artifacts like contracts. You're already maybe familiar with SLAs and KPIs, but we've done some new things with governance meetings and digitizing tasks with benefits of compliance with a compliance Autobot, which sends notifications and triggers and escalations for activities as it monitors processes, and we'll get into that a little bit more as we go along. The other thing is providing the transparency through dashboards and reporting and analytics gives leadership the visibility that they need to have a proper view of all of these end-to-end services. This digital governance framework provides all of these for our customers. So now to get into the tool and to understand how this really works, some of the things that we've done, and these are accelerators that we've developed and are able to deploy and are deploying for our customers today in this governance framework. So what you'll see here on the left is the contracts management module. We're able to digitize the terms and conditions within each of these contracts, have specific deliverables and obligations that we monitor and track and are able to see if a supplier is meeting those expectations. Many times customers might say, and maybe you've heard it, there's something called the watermelon effect where things look green on the outside, but they're red in the middle. And a lot of this things has to do with what is actually happening at a deep level and how do we make sure that things are being done in the way that they should be, not just things happening at the high SLA level. So this digitization of the contracts and activities that are happening is very important in this framework. The other thing that we've done is we've digitized the forums and the meetings that occur on a regular basis. So in the management of suppliers from a SIAM model, you might have daily or even weekly meetings, monthly, quarterly meetings, where you meet with a supplier to review performance, to review different activities that are being delivered. It could be review of P1 incidents, for example, or changes that are being implemented or failed changes. There's numerous things that drive meetings with suppliers. These are often done in ad hoc meetings and meeting minutes captured through Word documents that are being emailed back and forth, and there's no clear way to monitor and track all of that activity that's being done. What we've done is by digitizing these meetings, we have a dashboard and engine that is able to track and document all of these meetings. So each meeting is set up with an owner. Attendees are invited to the meeting through an automated fashion. In this example here, we have a set of incidents that are going to be reviewed in this meeting. So each person that is associated to those incidents would be invited to that meeting. They'd get an automatic invite in their calendar to attend this meeting. The meeting occurs in a digitized way, so whoever's facilitating this meeting is able to take notes right in this form that you see. Everyone ahead of time is able to see what's going to be discussed because this meeting is in ServiceNow, and then after the fact, meeting notes are available. The other added benefit of this is we have a robust set of activities that are be able to create it in the meeting. We have RAID, so risks and actions and issues, decisions and escalations can all be tracked, assigned and reported on. So this is another key element to our solution. If you look on the right, we've developed a process compliance monitoring engine or bot. Automation is extremely important in this concept. So what we do is for each key process, whether it's incident, problem, change, service request, we define a set of conditions and definitions that apply to each process. When a particular condition is met, for example, so let's say a change is approving or approaching CAB, and there's an approval that's pending, that will trigger, based on some definitions that we've made, a condition that would send a notification out to the end user saying you still need to approve this change. And as time goes on, there's escalation to the person's manager that says this activity has not been done. And each time these conditions are met, points are attributed to the person. So essentially we've gamified some of these activities, and these are all reportable, as you'll see on the next screens. So between the contracts piece, between these rate items, and then the process compliance monitoring, which is happening in the background on a schedule basis based on the definitions that we've defined, will create the data that's needed to really drive some of these improvements that we're talking about. So if we look at the power within the ServiceNow platform, some of the things that it's known for are the reporting and the ease of use of the data that's there. We use performance analytics to do trending and reporting, and here are some examples of some views of the data that we just talked about. So you can look at, if you look on the left, the number of, for example, risks that you have in the environment at any particular time. These are active risks that are that have been identified and that have not been resolved. You can also do it at the process level. So you can see we have many incident non-compliance items that have been reported. This is all sample data just to give you a sense of what it looks like. But the idea behind this is that you have information that's needed to provide the insights to make decisions and address and prioritize what's happening in the environment. So this, if we see on the left these numbers, right? So this is a way for both the supplier and the SIAM or supplier manager to review how a supplier is doing in a particular area. So if, as an individual, I have points associated to me, that means these are non-compliance points. The higher the number, the bigger the larger the non-compliance is. So on a regular basis, these can be reviewed and addressed. This is also visible to both leadership and on an operational level. So SIAM teams and supplier managers are able to review this and see if a particular supplier has more points, and if there's a person in particular that is having a performance issue that can be remediated either through training or some other measure. So this, along with looking at the actual SLA performance, on the bottom here you could see we've developed a dashboard in ServiceNow that allows us to look at service levels month over month. This may be a view that you're familiar with, looking at solutions that are outside of ServiceNow. We've created a robust SLA performance and measurement reporting system right in the tool. So anytime you see these different SLAs, this can be done at the supplier view so that one supplier can see their SLAs, or from a supplier management perspective where you need to see this across multiple suppliers. All of these are drill down where you can click into it and see the data behind them and see more advanced charts. So if we take a step back and look at what we've done, essentially there's three key areas that I want to highlight here. So one is at the process level. When we think of the digital governance framework, it's a set of processes that we are able to bring in and help improve and transform how a customer is managing their suppliers. This can do with contract renewals, offboarding and terminating an existing supplier. Also comes with documenting the terms and conditions and many other things. And then if you look at the data level, we talked about some of the meeting minutes and the rate items that are happening. Instead of doing these things outside of the tool, having all these artifacts, these processes and workflows right in the tool allows for automation and increased speed in achieving the outcomes that customers are expecting. These apps at the bottom that I want to highlight are some of the things we've talked about, but these are what's called a scoped application in ServiceNow, and these are our IP. I have not seen other competitors that are doing this type of application, and I think it's something that customers are really responding to, and the idea that you can manage your suppliers in an automated fashion is very attractive. So some of the benefits that we've seen from this digital ecosystem platform is increased quality. It truly does integrate how suppliers work. You've seen some of the views where we could do end-to-end view of a process, as well as having a clear line of sight for how that supplier is performing, and one source of truth, not going to multiple systems, not looking in Outlook, not looking in SharePoint. Everything's in ServiceNow and reportable. It gives us a robust governance and control. It allows us to ensure that we've got alignment and cooperation and accountability with the different parties, and that there's visibility, so that if a supplier is not performing in a particular area, that information is right in the tool, and we've seen the evidence for what's happening, and it's clearly actionable, and it allows for continual service improvement, like we mentioned. This optimization and reduction in duplication also is something that we see increasing the efficiencies in how suppliers operate. Having things automated, removing manual tasks, streamlines how both SIAM teams are performing, but as well also the suppliers. This also is leading to a cutting edge customer experience. Having a Amazon-like experience, whether it comes to the portal, requesting services through the catalog, seeing these reporting and dashboards and trending right in the tool, all easily accessible through the client or on your mobile device. This environment also creates an extremely rapid and agile environment that promotes innovation. You've seen this, what we call a digital service fabric. It allows plug and play of suppliers. It allows consistent processes occurring across all of the processes. And we also have developed something for integrations. So if for a new customer, we need to integrate incidents from one system to another, our framework allows for easily repeatable integrations and accelerates the time for deployment. So I'm proud to highlight some of the recognition that we've received from ISG recently for our ability to, in the SIAM space, provide value quickly with our solutions. The digital ecosystem platform really does accelerate time to value, and we've been acknowledged for the depth and breadth that we bring to the table, and that we are truly visionaries in this space, and our customers are seeing the business value in a very quick fashion. We're also, from an operations and delivery, very strong and recognized in the market in these 4 categories, so I'm proud to highlight that that is something that ISG has acknowledged in 2019. So I want to highlight some of the key takeaways from this. Digital IT governance is important because it drives value from the services delivered by your suppliers. It reduces manual efforts so organizations can focus on more value-added activities. And it leverages ServiceNow so that you're managing services and suppliers within one platform with one data model, resulting in transparency for your business. So thank you very much for this presentation and this time today to listen to this, and I hope that you found this informative. My name is Hugo Gordillo, and thank you for your time today.